welcome to the show. This is The Force Always. My name is Diz, aka David Zammit. Let's get on with the show with the news, the views, the reviews, and interviews. Making news this time around where we've got a couple fan films that have hit the airways on YouTube the last 3 or 4 days. I'll be reviewing them both later in the review section. One is called Heir to the Empire, which is subtitled Luke Skywalker and Mara Jade Work to Survive a Deadly Jungle. So again, that's Heir to the Empire. Main title, Luke Skywalker and Mara Jade Work to Survive a Deadly Jungle. Just look that up on YouTube, you'll find it, and reviews coming very shortly. Another fan film, which is technically called Anakin Slaughters the Tusken Raiders, and in brackets, Unseen Until Now. That's right, Anakin Slaughters the Tusken Raiders, in brackets, unseen Until Now. I think that's by Star Wars Tales Untold. Check that one out. It's on YouTube, and I'll be giving you a review later in the show. To more news, Star Wars Celebration 2027. Time is running out for creating extra tickets from the ticket fiasco that we had a couple of months ago when they were attempting to sell Star Wars Celebration tickets for 2027. No resolve has been created. I've been in contact with ReedPop, who are organising the whole event, who have done it a number of times and have failed in a number of ways. But this is a major fiasco. Thousands of people are still eagerly anticipating possible tickets, and nothing has been resolved. I'm going to stick with this. I'm going to wish for the best for you and myself to get these tickets, as I've missed out personally, but time is running out. That's just give you a quick update on that one. I will be updating this a bit more heavily in the coming weeks, so stick around. Anyway, so that is the news. Let's get into views. Views is either my viewpoint, opinion, or a story idea that I have within Star Wars. Today it's a bit of both. Starf Fighter is the next big film for Star Wars coming out in 2027, May of next year, obviously 2027. And it's starring Ryan Gosling. It's directed by Sean Levy, who's done Spider-Man, stuff like that. But will Starfighter have a sequel? Okay, so my opinion is that I think this could be a secret episode 10, because to be honest, it's 5 years in the Star Wars story timeline from the last actual movie, Rise of Skywalker Episode 9. I think it's a bit too close for comfort, and I think there's just too much relevancy to this, to not be Episode 10. But I think it could be Episode 10, and partly because it's the 50th anniversary. Episode 10 and the 50th anniversary would be magical. But if it is a standalone film, would it have a sequel? Well, it depends on numbers at the box office for it to have a sequel. I would not be surprised if they made a sequel to this, but it will create a bit of the timeline I don't think would be of a big difference, because to fit in episode 10, you wouldn't want to have it too far from episode 9, unless it's their plan. But I think, will Starfighter have a sequel? I think yes, if it's a standalone film. If it is successful, like if the projections are high, like I would say, if you're looking in America for the movie to make about, I would say 100 to 150 million North American in its first opening weekend. That's what I would suggest it to be fairly successful, and it received pretty well for it to have following weeks. That's my opinion. That would be the satisfactory point of it possibly having a sequel. But I've got a feeling there's a bit more to Starfighter than just one standalone film. That's why I'm saying it's a secret episode 10, but I think it will be revealed as episode 10 in Star Wars Celebration 2027 as a bit of a gift to the fans. That's what I think. Anyway, that is my view for this time around. Let's get into reviews. Reviews is of the 2 fan films that have just hit the airways on YouTube. The first one, Heir to the Empire, Luke Skywalker and Mara Jade Work to Survive a Deadly Jungle. Now, this is shot really well, edited really well, music is great. The emotion was great. The subtlety was great. It was a bit of a sort of a slow-paced type of film, but straight off the bat, this actual fan film gets an 8 out of 10. And that's still very good. I really enjoyed it. I just think the intro and the outro was just a little bit not so intro and outro. Just needed a bit more of a solid start and a solid end to have its own contained story. You want to watch these fan films as its own contained story, just in case you don't see the other things. I think that is a nice little way to present a fan film. It's your own little story. If it connects to the other things, that's great, but you want it to still have relevancy as a standalone. And I think the intro and outro of it in the storytelling was a little bit lack, but the actual visuals, especially the expression on the faces, especially the expression on the face of Mara Jade, was amazing. Really, really well done. Not because it's AI or because it's special effects, it was just creating the right feel for the actual fan film. So that was a 8 out of 10. The next one was another YouTube fan film called Anakin Slaughters the Tusken Raiders, and in brackets, unseen until now. This really connects to the story, the Star Wars timeline in, I think it was Attack of the Clones, episode 2. It sort of starts off to sort of have that sort of where he got mad with the Tusken Raiders. It really extends the slaughtering in that point, and that sort of eventuates in its own original tale telling about Anakin and how mad and upset he was and stuff like leads into going to some sort of evil lord that looked like Darth Plagueis, but it wasn't, because he'd be dead by now technically in the story timeline. But he looked really good, he sounded really good, the whole thing was great. Straight off the bat with this particular film, I give this a 9 out of 10. And it was just amazing. Like, I really enjoyed it. It's very subtle, very like the first film I told you about, Heir to the Empire. And this one, it was pretty casual in its, impact or its epicness, but it still gave a great story. But it just started well, ended well. It was its own contained story, which is what I think is great. So, but I tell you what, the movies, the cinema, Hollywood is in danger with AI. Whether you like it or not, it is just a really quality sound and looking service, if you were to say. And I think I'd be a little bit concerned if I was in Hollywood. Anyway, so that's my review for this time around. Let's get into interviews. Interviews is my last questions usually that I get in my last particular video on The Force Awakens. And I'm here 3 or 4 times a week, just to let you know. You can subscribe to the channel, if you like. I'm here 3 or 4 times a week with the news, the views, the reviews, and interviews of all sorts. So let's get into the actual last particular video and the comments I got. Now, there was the first one I got was at Liam Thompson 4496. That person has written, I'm loving the included review of the Chadstone Shopping Centre cinemas. 10 out of 10 cinemas. So good. Now, I went to review the Odyssey last week. I was in an area called the Chadstone Shopping Centre, which is connected to Melbourne. It's a really big shopping centre, luxurious type of shopping centre, and it's a very nice cinema there. They have an IMAX there. They have a thing called Extreme Screen, which is sort of like IMAX but not IMAX, and it's just really good. But thank you very much for Liam Thompson 4496 with that comment. That's great. Yeah, I was loving it. It's just a bit weird that's in the shopping centre, but it's a shopping centre, but very good. The biggest one in the Southern Hemisphere, mind you. Anyway, the next question was Michael from Werribee South. If you end up going to Star Wars convention in 2027, would you go to Disneyland before or after? Now, because I haven't got the tickets yet, I'm unsure exactly what I'm going to do. I do have an ulterior plan that I will sort of discuss later in episodes to come, possibly. But would I go before or after? I think I'd go before, because the fatigue level you get from going to Star Wars 2027 or 2026 or 2020, any particular one, it's insane. You lose sleep, you're lying, you're just absolutely wrecked. It's so much fun, but it's also a lot of waiting, staying up, a lot of it's in the walking around. It's very tiring. So doing it after, I suggest to go to a relaxing place after the actual event of Star Wars Celebration and do all your stuff beforehand. And because I think a lot of people then would actually go to the Disneyland and stuff like that after, so you have less people there anyway. So I'd go before, but I've been to Disneyland a number of times. I've been to Galaxy's Edge. I'd go again, but I'm not eagerly wanting to go again because I've seen it. I get it. I mean, I check it out, but my agenda would be going to purely Star Wars Celebration, relaxing somewhere afterwards. Anyway, the next question by Michael from Werribee South. Are high-budget standalone star vehicle blockbusters like Starf Fighter a better remedy for the franchise fatigue, or does Star Wars fundamentally require the weight of an overarching multi-film trilogy to build meaningful stakes? The best way to answer that question is I believe in the episodic saga to keep continuing on the big screen. That's my answer. I think standalone films are great to watch, but I just love the episodic saga wherever it goes, because I accept the story for what it is, but it's still good to see where it goes. It's just always interesting. The space adventure with Star Wars is just mesmerizing all the time. Even if it's not good, it's still with me, and I'm sure with a lot of people out there. Anyway, to the next question, Michael from Werribee South. Is the franchise better off pushing forward to fix the divisive legacy of the sequel trilogy with Rey, or should it completely detach itself from the Skywalker timeline by looking to the ancient past? I think going backwards into Star Wars is just a pet hate. I'm willing to go through this just to get to the forward part. I think Star Wars just needs to keep moving forward. Going to the ancient past is not really Star Wars to me. Star Wars is the used future, which was a comment and title created by George Lucas, and I think I really like that sort of feel. And going to the past, it's not the future, so it's not the used future, even though it may have a used future feel. I just think pushing the story forward is always great. Anyway, so that's the way to answer that question. The next question is for Michael from Werribee South again. Should the future of Star Wars focus on a deep fan service and animated tie-ins tailored for hardcore fans, or should it lean into prestige standalone live action stories that appeal to general audiences? No, the storytelling for Star Wars needs to have a human element and a Star Wars element, because if you don't have them both, it doesn't really have that Star Wars feel, in my opinion. That's the best way to answer that question. I think the last comment I got was from an I am 19 do fan. I'm a Nintendo. Sorry, my goodness. I'm a Nintendo fan. I am a Nintendo fan. We saw how fan service worked with Rise of Skywalker. I think that it was all the proof we needed. I hope they aim to make solid films that are good all round, not just good Star Wars movies. Ryan Gosling is a step in the right direction. Hopefully they don't kill him off. I am a Nintendo fan. I agree with, I wish they won't kill him off, because Star Wars has this bad habit of killing things off and then having them come back again. I completely agree. I'm a little bit skeptical about Ryan Gosling because he's such a familiar face, and he's don't get me wrong, he's a pretty boy, but he is a great actor. I love his acting, but he's definitely a very appealing guy for the girls, which is fine. But I think Star Wars works best with unknown actors. I think that's how it should be always. But having Ryan Gosling in this Star Wars Starfighter coming up, I'm all for. So I'm really excited for it. I think the whole premise feels good so far, even though we don't have a story outline yet. Shortly though, but I think just definitely don't kill him off. And I'm glad that you like Ryan Gosling. It's in the right direction. I partly agree with that. I'm just a little bit on the fence with that, but at the same time, I get what you're saying. It's really good. Anyway, so that is the interviews for this time around, and that is the show for this time around. Subscribe to the channel, The Force Always. I'm here 3 or 4 times a week with Star Wars news, the views, reviews, and interviews. Like and share this video if you like. When you send in your questions, it could be asking me a question or something, my opinion. It could be something that you just want to make a comment. Whatever you like to do, just send in those questions. That'd be great. And until next time, my friends, keep rocking.